You're listening to the Spark Radio Network, internet radio like you've never heard before. Innovation, creativity, and imagination are all said to begin with a spark. A division of RCE is now the Spark Radio Network. So fasten your seatbelt and take the ride of your life and listen for the spark.
In these uncertain economic times, you've got to do whatever you can to save money. One of our biggest expenses can be our cars, especially when unexpected repair bills hit. Not anymore. If you own a vehicle with less than 130,000 miles, is less than 12 years old, has a warranty about to expire, or even no warranty at all, you could stop paying for car repairs. Roadside assistance, towing, and rental coverage are all included. Don't wait for the next repair. Make one free call right now to see if you qualify. If your vehicle is less than 12 years old, has less than 130,000 miles, even if it's out of warranty, paying for car repairs can become a thing of the past. Call us right now and get your car protected before your next repair bill hits. Get protection and no more repair bills. Call 800-696-1030. Again, 800-696-1030. That's 800-696-1030. 800-696-1030.
Joe had huge problems with the IRS.
I knew it was coming. I hadn't filed taxes since 1990.
All the IRS letters coming in added up to a nightmare.
It got up to like $68,000. My heart started beating fast. It's like, there's no way, man. I mean, I ain't going to be able to do this.
Then they stopped his paycheck.
So that's when I started making phone calls and found U.S. Tax Shield.
U.S. Tax Shield went to work immediately.
They just took the bull by the horns. What blew my mind is he called the IRS right then and there.
So why is U.S. Tax Shield A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau? Joe knows.
They saved me a ridiculous amount of money.
If you owe more than $10,000 to the IRS or state, choose the company Joe chose, U.S. Tax Shield.
It was the best decision I made. U.S. Tax Shield is the way to go. Life is good. Thank you, Lord.
Call 800-471-3287.
U.S. Tax Shield. Boo-rah. Yes.
800-471-3287. 800-471-3287.
The internet will never be the same. You're listening to K98Talk.com.
Whoa! Good God, y'all. What is it good for? Absolutely. Let's get set again.
Welcome to Opinion Nation.
And we stand today on the edge of a new frontier.
There is nothing wrong with America that cannot be cured by what is right with America.
What makes us Americans is our shared commitment to an ideal that all of us are created equal.
I, too, am America.
Now here's your host, Bryce Robbins.
Yippee in Iowa, we're here just thawing out. Mr. Trump, you're right. Look, back there in the press box. Heads are spinning. Funny. Ha-ha, not. All these new Democrat voters that are going to be coming on over the border as we keep the borders open, we're paying for some of their skirmishes. We bend over and say, thank you, enemy. No.
I'm Bryce Robbins, that's not SNL, and I'm here today joined by Lloyd Kelso. So, I just figured I'd start the show off right by dishing out a little Sarah Palin funny, not so funny because it's real humor. But anyways, Mr. Kelso, how you doing?
Doing great, Bryce. How you getting along?
I'm doing great. So, it's been a while since we've last talked, and we've been following you, talking to you ever so often about you and your campaign trail. And last night you showed me something very, very cool, and I'd like for you to share what that is about your experience in Iowa.
Well, we were out in Iowa back in August and got interviewed by Marco Battaglia of the Iowa Free Press. And it was about an hour or 2 hour long interview, and it was typed up. It's on our Facebook page, Lloyd Kelso for President 2016. If anyone would like to look at the interview, it's a rather intense interview. And lo and behold, Marco Battaglia actually endorsed my campaign last night.
Wow.
So the Iowa Free Press gave me, I guess, a thumbs up, and I've also been endorsed by the Democratic Liberty Caucus, and it appears that I've been told that an endorsement may be coming out this week by Fix It America. So we are making some progress here with this campaign, and just not going to give up.
Hey, never give up, man. I mean, what you're doing is amazing. You're total grassroots, and it's doing really good. So tell us a little bit about some of the policies that you've come out with. We've talked about your opinions on taxes, but what are some things that you've learned along the campaign trail that have, just been standout issues that people have been asking you about, something like that?
One of the main issues, I think, in America today is addressing our problems with education and reaching young children who before their school age. And that it seems like we sort of lost a couple of generations there where a number of kids were born into single-parent homes, and those parents were working almost full-time and maybe sometimes 2 or 3 jobs trying to keep up out and without support from the other parent. And so we ended up with a lot of kids who, in the normal intact family household, kids get exposed to around 30 million words. And these kids were entering school having been exposed to less than 1 million words. And so what we've seen is a real degeneration of young Americans, particularly black young Americans. We're now, Bernie Sanders is concerned about giving everyone free college. I'm concerned about getting blacks through high school and whites as well. We only have a 59% graduation rate for blacks and 80% graduation rate for whites overall in the United States. So my approach to that is going to be to try to reach children in preschool, develop mentoring programs throughout the country to actually teach young children who are 2, 3, 4, 5 years old words and help them to expand their vocabularies and their ability to converse, get them out from behind their little Game Boys, and get them exercising and getting them in good shape and ready for school. That way, when they get to school, they don't become a problem and end up being suspended from school all the time because they will be achievers.
Hey, sounds good to me. Now, I'm just curious, would you advocate for a universal pre-K system, public school for pre-K?
I think we need something along those lines. But the problem is in the past, what we've done is we integrated the school systems, but we never really integrated how teachers are going to teach young black children or young white children who are in situations that are different from other intact families. And so what we've got to do is change our approach to education a great deal and understand that there are those who have fallen behind or are behind and need to be taught. I hate to put labels on stuff. When you say universal pre-K, that sounds like, something out of a futuristic communist country or something. I don't know. But that's not what I have in mind. My ideas could be faith-based. It could be as well across universally across the country, simply to be able to find any way we can, every way we can, grandma, granddaddy, whoever can, reach these young children and bring awareness to the fact that they need to be brought along and be prepared for school when they get there. It's the problem that they get into school and they become a discipline problem by the 2nd, 3rd, or 4th grades, and then they start having all these in-school suspensions and then out-of-school suspensions, and then they end up becoming part of the 41% that never finish high school. And they constitute, we've got an unemployment rate. Let's see, the last time I checked, the teen employment rate is like only 16.4% for blacks, and the employment rate overall has declined 81.9% to 71.3% for black Americans who that's just unacceptable.
So let me ask, kind of to jump ships here. I recently saw you posted an article about Joni Ernst with a gun, about gun liberty or something of that nature. Now, is it possible that you might be on the were running on the wrong side of the aisle? Do you think that you would classify yourself aligning with Republicans more so in this sense?
Well, I think I'll try to align myself with what I think is right. Americans are so concerned with labels today, and I'm not trying to be politically correct or politically Republican or politically Democrat. I want to try to be right on the issues. And, if it's a gun issue, I think the fact that we have less guns on the street may be causing more violence than the fact that we've got more guns on the street. I think we need to have protection and protecting people in all situations. People would be a lot less, or a terrorist would be a whole lot less likely to go into a place where they know there's guns and just start shooting. It's mostly these gun-free zones where they know there's no guns that they seem to be attacking and having the successes.
Hey, good answer to me. So tell us more about, your experience, and then we'll get into more policy stuff later. But tell me more about your experience running right now. What are some, just things that you've seen? Because we met you and you just started your campaign. You were just starting out on social media, and now it's exploded. So just, if you could tell us a little bit about, your start to here and where you plan to go.
Well, we started back in April 15th. We declared on tax day, so kind of unusual, I guess, for a Democrat to declare on tax day. But we declared our campaign on that day to make a point that we feel like taxes are too high in America, and to be able to stop the spiral of the middle class and poor to the bottom. And so the big focus of our campaign has been directed toward trying to help poor and middle class Americans. And just like the issue I talked about before with helping particularly young black people, 75% of black children who are born in America today are born to single family mothers. So or they end up with a father who's single. So we've got to try to deal with that and directly deal with that. I've learned a whole lot over this campaign. It's been a tremendous learning experience for me. I came into it, thinking, some things I realized that I needed to have some sort of better education policy than what I had in mind when I started the campaign. That's been an act in progress all the way from the beginning. I think we had to have something to deal with college and to deal with student loans. My student loan program is a little different from that of Bernie Sanders and Hillary Clinton. Mine would be to give tax credits for payments on student loans for up to $5,000 a year for up to a period of 10 years. The other thing that I've come up with people seem to like is to form, which could be done a lot less expensively than giving all free college to everybody, would be to have a universal college that's provided through the federal government at a cost that would be very low or free, and that would compete with other colleges and universities and help to bring costs down. Now, that sounds a little like the idea of Obamacare, but I don't think it would be like Obamacare in that respect. This would actually bring costs down because thousands, even up to millions of people could get on the online university and obtain a degree over time, and that would be a way of doing it with a lot less cost. We could probably do an online university like that for something in the range of, I would say, less than maybe $500 million that it would take to provide college education for everybody in America through an online university, as opposed to what it's going to take.
So you're advocating for a federal online university?
That's my idea. That's what I've come up with that I really like. And we could actually hire professors from some of the finest universities in America to develop our online courses and help us with those. We have a number of those that are already online and are available, but they're all very expensive and costly. We could just buy into some of that and provide it for people who want to get a college education. And we could design them. They could tailor make them. I mean, we could have farming courses for people who live in Iowa. We could have shipping courses for people who want to live on the coastline and engage in shipping. We could have those that deal with automobile mechanics or something. It could deal with a lot of different things and do a lot of teaching in that respect. And there would be ways of setting up mentoring centers around the country where you could go in and actually get on-hands training in some of these different careers.
Hey, that sounds good to me. I mean, I actually like that idea, but I think people would definitely hesitate to federal government's involvement in education. But hey, you never know. Maybe these new ideas are needed. So
I don't see it strictly as a federal level thing. I think it could be in cooperation with the states. I would love to see what some of the governors would think about the idea, and helping to create some competition among universities and colleges where the costs have just run astronomically high because of they realize they get these federal loans and grants, and they just think they can charge anything. So these kids get stuck with these huge student loans that they can't pay back.
No, definitely. I mean, I think that what you're proposing is definitely should be heard. So let me ask you, right now, I would say the large majority of Democratic voters are focused on two primary people, Bernie Sanders and Hillary Clinton, and then kind of know who Martin O'Malley is. And most people have already discounted Martin O'Malley. So what is it that you're after here? How are you going to break in? What is your game plan for this?
Well, my game plan at this point is, I'd like to be able to do something in Iowa. We are presently trying to reach Democratic chairs in Iowa. We are doing a lot of telephone calling to Iowa, dealing with Democratic chairs there. The fact that we got the endorsement of the Iowa Free Press to Marco Batiglia, I think is a big force for us there. We're on the ballot. We're fifth on the ballot, fifth from the top on the ballot in New Hampshire, and we're hoping to score pretty well there. We have been up there. We've been to New Hampshire for about 4 weeks, 4 to 5 weeks, I think, if you count all the days up, campaigning during this campaign election season. We've got people that are going to be on the ground in Iowa and New Hampshire again this week, continuing to put out signs and put out flyers and getting people hopefully to the polls. We hope to have people working most of the precincts up there during the election. So we'd like to score a strong third place, hopefully behind Hillary and Bernie in New Hampshire. If we do that, then I think that sort of gives us some national media attention that we sorely needed. I was on C-SPAN last Wednesday night, by the way.
You were? That's very cool.
That was on the lesser-known candidates forum that they had there at St. Anselm College there in Manchester. I was on that. So I don't know if you caught that program or not, but I was on C-SPAN. So
Yeah, you're saying? Keep going.
Yeah, we're hoping that, we get a pretty good bump from all that and people begin to know who Lloyd Kelso is nationally. And from that, I've also gotten received the endorsement of the Democratic Liberty Caucus, and they are in the process of they're thinking about a new party, possibly. We may end up, running in that as an independent third party, possibly. We don't know what's going to happen with Hillary Clinton at this point. Could be, get it to the point where if Hillary is indicted, then it's going to be Bernie Sanders who's going to be sort of in the driver's seat of this election. And he's a socialist, and I think his views and mine are just pretty far between. And so I think there might be a lot of people jump on our bandwagon and away from Bernie Sanders, and we'll just see how that would go. There's a lot of people who I think on the Republican side who may cross over as well. I am a person who has graduated from a theological seminary with a degree in divinity and master's degree in Christian counseling, in addition to having practiced law for 40 years. So I see that as being a plus, and a lot of people, the fact that I'm one of the few or only pro-life Democrats who are out there, that sort of gives some leaning from the Republican side, I think, toward my positions. So we'll just see, you just take day at a time with this type of thing and see what the mood of the country is and see how people go. I've been reading and talking with a lot of people about ISIS and the issues that we have overseas and all these terrorist attacks that we're seeing. I was just reading about some on the BBC. I don't think we're getting as much national news about all the terror that's really going on over there. It seems that that they've spread pretty much with the Paris attacks and all into Europe and then into Northern Africa. We are going to eventually, I believe, have to do something about people who feel like that they want to dominate the world and they want to kill everyone who doesn't agree with their beliefs. So I don't know. I'm kind of like, as I told them at St. Anselm on Tuesday night, I said, you're hiring me to be the coach of your football team. I'm not going to tell you at this point whether I'm going to run or whether I'm going to pass, but we're probably going to run and we're probably going to pass. So I'm not going to give you my exact strategy for how to deal with ISIS, but I can tell you that by the second, third year of my presidency, we will have dealt with ISIS. So that will be something we will have to deal with, I believe, pretty quickly. We cannot allow them to continue to foment their beliefs throughout the world of terrorism and killing of people that don't agree with their beliefs.
Well, that's actually a very interesting topic. I would definitely. You pretty much said, it's going to stay silent, so that's pretty fine. Now, let me ask you. This is just for a fun question. If you had to vote for one Republican, one Democrat, can't be you, who are you going to vote for?
I think at this point in time, I would, that's a hard question, but I really like Rand Paul, and I think I would probably vote for Rand Paul. That's kind of changed a little bit over time. I may have been a little bit more for Marco Rubio, but I think overall I really agree with Rand Paul's views on the Constitution and the fact that we need to return to having a constitutional presidency. I just think that he's right on with that sort of view. We diverge on a number of other areas, but I think that would be probably my Republican selection. On the Democratic side, it creates more of a problem because I don't see myself voting for Bernie Sanders because he's a socialist, and I really do not agree with hardly any of his policies that he's talking about. Hillary Clinton, I see her as having violated so many laws in America, and her whole background of her and her husband's scandals throughout the 90s and 80s when they were in power, and then her poor performance as Secretary of State. I don't find myself voting for her. I would probably lean more toward writing in Jim Webb or voting along those lines. I think Jim Webb and I have similar beliefs in many respects. So I think that's about where I am right now, probably Jim Webb and Rand Paul.
So let me ask you then this, because Jim Webb was, asked that he was on the wrong side of the aisle. Do you think it's possible that you are? Let me ask, why are you specifically running as a Democrat? If it seems that many of your beliefs align in a party that, in my eyes, needs rebranding. In my eyes, the Republican Party is the one that needs, more, unity. So let me ask, why are you running as a Democrat as opposed to a Republican?
Well, I think the Democrats can win. I don't think the Republicans can. When you look at the number of people out there who are dependent on the government, you look at the fact that we've got 47 million Americans on food stamps. We've got 12 million Americans on Obamacare. We've got a number of immigrants who have come in, most of whom are leaning more toward the Democratic side. We have 93 million Americans who are either unemployed or underemployed, who are receiving some sort of government benefits. We're spending $1.5 trillion a year to help keep all these people afloat. Plus, we've got all the seniors who are on Social Security who feel like the Republicans want to mess with their Social Security. How can it be possible that the Republicans can put together the numbers to actually win the election? I don't see that happening.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. No, I definitely understand.
So why not pick the winning side? I mean, the Democrats are the winning side, I think. So that's why I ran as a Democrat.
No, I mean that definitely makes sense. So, I mean, we're going to go to break.
I don't want to mess with people's Social Security or their benefits that they have in that regard. I want to create opportunity, much like the Republicans talk about creating opportunity. That's what I want to see happen in terms of that, and help bring more people off of government assistance.
Definitely. All right, so we are going to go to break, and then when we come back, we are going to talk a little bit more about your run, your policies, and we'll leave it at that. All right. I'm Bryce Robbins. This is Opinion Nation. Today I'm joined by Lloyd Kelso. We'll be right back.
Welcome to Opinion Nation.
We will never fully understand what we've asked of our military service members or their families, asking them to put themselves in harm's way, to endure it all. But we do understand that it's our turn, our duty, to keep them secure for the rest of their lives. Wounded Warrior Project long-term support programs help our most severely ill or injured veterans live independently, at no cost, for life, so that they might stand at ease. Join us at findwwp.org.
If you want to work until you keel over, have less of everything in retirement, or give back more of your hard-earned money to the stock market again, then just ignore me. But if you'd like to protect the money you save, receive a steady, predictable retirement income, and enjoy financial security for as long as you live, then listen to this. You can download a free report that reveals the wealth-building secrets Wall Street and the banks don't want you to know. You'll learn how you can get guaranteed growth, safety, and real prosperity without risking your money in the Wall Street casino, and how to get the money you need when you need it, simply by asking for it. This is the best way to have a 100% secure retirement, and know your money will last as long as you do. To learn more about this method and to get your free report, go to 29security.com. That's the number 29security.com. 29security.com. Go to 29security.com.
All right, guys, we're ready for our Four Seasons sunroom, and Daddy's gonna get a rec room with refreshments.
Oh no, we'll be sleeping under the stars.
Mom, what about the one with, the fun?
Nice try, little bro. It's a gym. My gym.
Hey, Grandma's getting her Four Seasons garden room. Weather tight and still like being outdoors.
Maybe a living room. Oh no, wait, a family hub.
Yeah!
No matter what the budget, the season, or the climate, Four Seasons Sunrooms let you and your family enjoy the outdoors inside. Call now to receive your free, no-obligation brochure from the premier manufacturer of sunrooms since 1975.
More reasons for Four Seasons now.
To find out more, call toll-free 800-928-7007. That's 800-928-7007. Call 800-928-7007 today.
I love that theme. All right, we are back. I'm Bryce Robbins. This is Opinion Nation, and we are still joined by Lloyd Kelso. We're going to talk about some more policy things and all things Lloyd. So, I guess another topic that I always, comes to mind for me is the environment. So, what is your take on the environment? Climate change, environmental protection, what are you going to shoot for?
Yeah, I think that's a really good question. And, we are seeing the effects of climate change. There's no doubt. Scientists have seen that we have gone up about 1.3 degrees since 1800, and they're predicting a rise of somewhere of 5 to 7 degrees by 2100. So that's kind of the worst case scenario. I think we are going to be inventing and creating and developing technologies as we go along that are going to help us to deal with the environmental changes. I don't think that simply throwing $1 trillion at it would be the correct approach. However, I do think the failure of the United States to participate in the recent conference in terms of reforestation of the world and throw in our $1 billion like the United Kingdom and France and Germany was willing to do. We didn't want to pitch in and pay for that. So why not? Why shouldn't we pay $1 billion toward helping reforest the world and helping to bring about the creation of more oxygen and the sequestration, I guess you'd say, of more CO2 into the plants? That's something we could have done, and President Obama just didn't do it. So I think we can do some things, though. I mean, I think we need to have plant more trees. I think we need to have more reflective paint used and required in certain areas, like on water tanks and tops of buildings, that sort of thing. We need to go solar and wind as much as we can to where it makes sense. And I think as we go along, if private enterprise is going to help us to a great deal to help to change this, I believe. I don't think it's going to take a lot of government policies. One of the things that I probably disagree with a lot of Democrats on, but my idea is to build the Keystone Pipeline and support that. And one of the reasons that I support that is that when you talk about transporting all that oil from the regions of the Canadian tundra down to the Gulf Coast, you're using up putting a lot more CO2 into the atmosphere by transporting it back and forth by trucks and other mechanisms than you would by the pipeline. And so we would save our planet quite a bit from having the pipeline, I believe, through the transportation. The U.S. emits only about 17% of the world's CO2 compared to 25% in China and 13% in the European Union. So we've got to figure out a way to get China on board with trying to be more energy efficient, helping them to eliminate fossil fuels would be a big step in that. And if we're going to have global trade with them, why can't we try to tie some of these environmental changes to those trade agreements that we have? TPP, we can also tie it to the number of the trade that we have with the other Pacific Rim countries and try to, everybody is in this together to try to stop the rise of CO2. And so it can be done. It's just going to, one of the things I thought about would be to try to decentralize some people from the inner cities by giving some tax incentives to people who would want to live out from the major polluting centers like L.A., New York City itself, Atlanta, Georgia, and maybe give better tax incentives on the state, local level, maybe even on the federal level to get people to move more into rural areas and become decongested a little bit more. That will help to give more of an opportunity for the CO2 to dissipate and be absorbed by plant life. We need to have more green zones. I think all of those things that I've mentioned would help to certainly bring down the likelihood of a rise of 4 or 5 degrees by 2100.
I can say that I definitely agree with what you said. And you are in an interesting place with your policies and positions where you are, considered liberal on one, conservative on the other, and it makes a good mesh. And I think if the American people get exposed more and more to Lloyd Kelso, I think you will find yourself in a good place. So, we've covered a lot of things. Is there anything else that you want to explain to our viewers, to our listeners? Anything else?
Well, I never want to close an interview without at least mentioning the now almost $19 trillion debt.
Of course, go for it.
We've got to figure out a way to save our children and grandchildren and great-grandchildren from the burdens that are going to be caused by this debt. It's a direct threat to our national security. What if we do have to fight another war, maybe a serious war with ISIS? If we keep setting back and they keep growing, it could become a more and more expensive war the longer we wait. And so my thoughts are we need to, as quickly as possible, create a surplus in the federal government. One of the ways I would do that is by changing how we define income and have income that includes investment. We've probably talked about this once before, but investment income, as it grows, America grows as well. We pick up a tax on investment growth, which is not taxed at the present time. And we would also change the Social Security and make that secure in the future by taking off the $118,500 cap and reducing Social Security from 12.4% to 5%. Some of those ways we can secure our future and our children and grandchildren's futures, and we can see America being in a better place. We get better trade agreements. We move forward and create a surplus to pay off this debt. You know, I was figuring the other day, if we paid $1 million a day, if we just stopped borrowing, right now we're borrowing $500 million a day to keep the government operating, and we've been doing that for a long time. And the Congress just gave the president a blank check through the end of the year, through the end of his term, for another like $1.8 trillion to finish out his term, which means we're going to be, by the time I would take over $20 trillion in debt. If we stop right now borrowing any further money and started paying $1 million per day on that debt, it would take some 55,000 years to pay off that debt of $20 trillion. So it's going to take somebody like me who's going to stand up against the politicians in Washington, D.C., a Washington outsider who's going to say, enough is enough. I've had it. I'm going to go up there and I'm going to cut back. I'm not going to spend money. I've even agreed to give all the money that I make as president after paying off my campaign debt to charity. I don't want the money. Don't need. I could probably use it, but I'm not a wealthy man. But I would serve for nothing. I'd want our congressmen to start cutting their salaries back. Everybody's going to have to, be involved in this. We're going to have to cut everything back substantially to be able to pay up to. I would like to be able to pay up to $1 trillion a year on that debt and have that debt paid off in 20 years. So that would be my goal.
That is, I definitely think you have ambitious and, noteworthy goals. And I definitely wish you luck on your advancement in this race. And I'm very happy to see that you got on the ticket in Iowa. And I hope that the same happens in New Hampshire and South Carolina. And I hope you run a great race. But, of course, I'm sure we will hear back from you soon, as you are one of our quickest returning guests. And we love keeping up with you and your campaign. It's been a journey, and I can't wait for this journey to continue and see where it goes. So thank you very much for coming on the show today, Lloyd. And I hope, everything turns out well.
Bryce, I always enjoy being with you, and thank you for the opportunity this morning. I sound a little bit congested. I've had a cold. I probably got out in the cold too much when I was in New Hampshire, but I have enjoyed this morning, and look forward to coming back on and visiting with your listeners and you again anytime.
Sounds great. Have a great day.
You too.
All right, you just heard from presidential candidate Lloyd Kelso. He's running as a Democrat. He recently just got on the ballot in Iowa. And so, now you can vote for him if you're in Iowa. He'll be the third name on the ticket down, I believe. So consider Lloyd Kelso for president. Next, we're going to talk a little bit for the remaining couple minutes that we have about a few topics. So for one, Barbara Bush jabs Trump in latest Jeb video. So this is from the Daily Caller, but it's a Jeb Bush ad, and I'm going to play it for you. And it's just funny, sad that it had to happen, and just here we go.
Jeb has been a very good father, a wonderful son, a hard worker. His heart is big. When push comes to shove, people are going to realize Jeb has real solutions rather than talking about how popular they are, how great they are. He's doing it because he sees a huge need and it's not being filled by anybody. Of all the people running, he seems to be the one who could solve the problems. I think he'll be a great president.
So that is Barbara Bush. And, what makes this kind of funny is you have Donald Trump saying, bullying Jeb basically at the debates. And he's bullying him on, you're at the end of the stage and you are off there, your poll numbers are dropping. And now you have Barbara Bush coming out saying that, he should run. But here, I want to play another clip for you. Now, this one is Barbara Bush, again, earlier, before she realized that, baby Jeb wanted to run. So here's this clip.
Do you think Jeb Bush will run? Would you like to see him run?
Sure, he'd be terrific. He'd be a wonderful president.
That's Laura
But
Bush.
who knows? We don't know, and we're just letting him decide.
The fact that Getty didn't talk at all is...
Mrs. Bush, would you like to see your son Jeb run?
He's by far the best qualified man, but no. I really don't. I think it's a great country. There are a lot of great families, and it's not just 4 families or whatever. There are other people out there that are very qualified, and we've had enough Bushes.
Have you expressed that to him?
Well, she's also said he shouldn't run. We've had enough Bushes. Ultimately, what I'm trying to get at here is, to me, it sounds like an appeal. Mom, this kid's bullying me. Help me. And that ad comes out, and I think he'd make a great president. The fact of the matter is, Jeb is running to his mom to get onto an ad to support him, and it just paints a picture, at least for me. Now, I want your opinion. Tweet us, go on Facebook, Opinion Nation, talk to us, because, you clearly have been with the increase in likes and followers we've been getting, but what is Jeb look like? What does Jeb look like to you? Does he look weak to you? He looks weak to me. He goes to his mom, he asks his mommy for help, and it's almost pathetic. So, in all honesty, what we really should get at here is that Jeb Bush is not the candidate we want. He's a weak candidate, and the Republicans really aren't throwing anybody at us that we want. I mean, do you really want camel toe Chris Christie? And I'm only saying that because my friend just sent me a picture of Chris Christie when he was in his baseball uniform, and, well, it's not the prettiest sight to see. So, go check that out. It's pretty nasty, but that fat ass could be the next president of the United States, and that just grosses me out. He's my governor. He's not a governor. He's never here. He's campaigning all the time. So that knocks him out. So you got a weakling, a runaway. Rand Paul is on the baby stage now, so does he even count? And really all you have now is a non-citizen, or not even eligible person to run, and you have Donald Trump. For whatever reason, we are voting for people who genuinely are just terrible. But what do we have next? Michael Bloomberg just announced that he might now be running for president. And what this means, I don't know. He doesn't support the legalization of drugs. He doesn't support many things that I support. And for all those reasons, I don't know if I would get behind him. It would put Donald Trump surely to shame because, the idea of, oh, he's a billionaire, blah, blah, blah. Michael Bloomberg would blow that one out of the water. So that would be an interesting sight to see. Billionaire v. Bernie Sanders? Maybe. That would be fun. But my point here is that we have an interesting kind of mesh of candidates in this recent race. And I'm really very curious to see where this goes, especially with somebody like Michael Bloomberg. Billionaire, successful New York City mayor, but he was very, government control-y, right? The whole, we're going to control and regulate the size of Slurpees that you can drink. We're going to do this, that, and the other thing. And to me, it just, I don't know. He has been a champion on environmental regulation, which obviously I find appealing. And, turns me on because I like that kind of thing. But, I mean, we are really picking from pretty shitty candidates. As much as I love Bernie Sanders, his image is not presidential, and I don't know if it will be. So anyways, that is pretty much all I have on that topic. Another thing I wanted to go on to was a funny picture that someone sent me, actually, to the Opinion Nation page. It's a picture of Obama over Ronald Reagan, and it reads, Obama sold weapons to Iran, banned assault weapons, gave amnesty to 3 million illegal immigrants, and tripled the national debt. Just kidding, that was Reagan. So, I must say, to the followers of Opinion Nation, you have been very funny lately. I've been getting some wild messages and posts and just comments in general. So keep following us at Opinion Nation. Keep the support going. We still haven't paid $1 in growing likes, but you've still all been liking our page. So it has been working. It's been good. And we appreciate it. So to wrap up today's show, we're just going to kind of recap. We talked to Lloyd Kelso, and I think, it's very interesting where he's going in this campaign. And to be quite honest, when I met Lloyd Kelso, it was this past summer, I want to say January, we met him. And he had, wasn't big on Facebook. I just saw his page. I figured, hey, it might be a good idea to talk to this guy. So we talk, we have an interview, and now, he's got 50,000 likes on Facebook. He's running a campaign. He's going from place to place. Apparently now he's on C-SPAN, and he's doing really good things. So I don't know if I would, I don't know if I'm necessarily going to be casting my vote for him or for Bernie or for anybody, because I don't know if Bernie will be there. I don't know if I'm going to get the chance to vote for Lloyd, but if I do, he's definitely a candidate to look at. And it just shows one thing, though, one crucial message, that a candidate who has gotten more internet support than Lincoln Chafee did, and Jim Webb, and even till late, Martin O'Malley, is unheard of in the grand scheme of things. And it shows you that it's almost unfair that we don't have a democracy based on people who are willing to run, people who have the courage to run. It's based on who can fund the most, or who has the most name recognition because of prior experience. And that, I think, is not something that the Founding Fathers would have wanted. They would want somebody like a Lloyd Kelso running, because he is an American. He's the common American. I'm sorry, but Martin O'Malley, okay, a governor, a first lady, and corrupted, prison inmate, and a socialist aren't necessarily everyday Americans. And neither is a huge man, a weak, bullied child, a son of a president, brother of a president. These are not your average Americans. If you want somebody leading this country, why not have an average American, a person you can relate to? And that is why I think Lloyd Kelso has appeal. But with policies, I don't know if I'd vote for him. I'm not sure. I very much enjoyed his statements on the environment. I think, all of them were true. And in anything, actually, I would like to get back to the idea of Martin O'Malley. I actually think that he is the best Democratic candidate, and I said that before. I'm upset that his campaign flopped. I really am. I wish and I hope that he runs again. He's a very young guy. He's in his 40s, I believe. But it just seems to me that Martin O'Malley has very good structure. He's very tough on crime, cares about the environment, and he's, wants to take on Wall Street. So he's not a socialist. He believes in capitalism, obviously, but he's liberal. And he's a good-looking guy, and I think that he will make a good president, but I'm afraid that his campaign flopped this time, which upsets me. But I'm going to play a video, actually, from his website that kind of just encompasses what he believes in. So here we go.
Governor O'Malley, you have 90 seconds. Anderson, thank you.
I am very, very grateful to have been able to be on this stage with this distinguished group of candidates tonight. And what you heard tonight, Anderson, was a very, very, and all of you watching at home, was a very, very different debate than from the sort of debate you heard from the two presidential Republican debates. On this stage, you didn't hear anyone denigrate women. You didn't hear anyone make racist comments about new American immigrants. You didn't hear anyone speak ill of another American because of their religious belief. What you heard instead on this stage tonight was an honest search for the answers that will move our country forward, to move us to a 100% clean electric energy grid by 2050, to take the actions that we have always taken as Americans so that we can actually attack injustice in our country, employ more of our people, rebuild our cities and towns, educate our children at higher and better levels, and include more of our people in the economic, social, and political life of our country. I truly believe that we are standing on the threshold of a new era of American progress. Unless you become discouraged about our gridlock in Congress, talk to our young people under 30, because you'll never find among them people that want to bash immigrants or people that want to deny rights to gay couples. That tells me we are moving to a more connected, generous, and compassionate place. And we need to speak to the goodness within our country.
So that was a video that was on Martin O'Malley's website, and it's on his Facebook page, and it's on his social media. And I think it just encompasses him. You know, he's a good candidate. I think he'll be a good future candidate. And who knows, maybe even a good vice president to whoever gets the Democratic nomination. And I hope it's not Hillary. But I've already predicted, and I have my money on it, that if Hillary Clinton gets the nomination, her vice presidential candidate is going to be Julian Castro from Texas. Congressman, I believe. A young, Hispanic, good-looking, strong speaker, rising liberal from Texas. Come on. I mean, could you imagine? That's going to be a killing team. And, you know, look, do I like Hillary? No. I think she's been pushed to the left. And I think she's an appeaser. I don't think she's going to be a good leader. But I might just have to pull that trigger for her because the Supreme Court might be on the line for us. So with that, I'm sure Rick has his jaw dropped and his ears are probably bleeding. But I'm sure this is going to make a great conversation for the next show. So with that, I'm going to hold it there. We'll meet back again next Saturday, and hopefully my guests will pull through. But for now, I'm Bryce Robbins. This is Opinion Nation. I'll see you next week.
If you want to work until you keel over, have less of everything in retirement, or give back more of your hard-earned money to the stock market again, then just ignore me. But if you'd like to protect the money you save, receive a steady, predictable retirement income, and enjoy financial security for as long as you live, then listen to this. You can download a free report that reveals the wealth-building secrets Wall Street and the banks don't want you to know. You'll learn how you can get guaranteed growth, safety, and real prosperity without risking your money in the Wall Street casino, and how to get the money you need when you need it, simply by asking for it. This is the best way to have a 100% secure retirement, and know your money will last as long as you do. To learn more about this method, and to get your free report, go to 29security.com. That's the number 29security.com. 29security.com. Go to 29security.com. Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 $3 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 1-800-516-7602 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 1-800-516-7602 to take your call right now. Call 1-800-516-7602. That's 1-800-516-7602. Again, 1-800-516-7602.